Many people said Asante had Golden Stool. It is a lie. After the war, after they were successful, after they had realized that they have successfully defeated Denkyira, Confederacy realized that he can create a kingdom. Because that time he could not create a kingdom because the war you were going, you don't know whether you are going to win or you're going to lose. So after that, he created a kingdom. He took all the stools of the chief that went for the war, and he buried them. And the golden stool that they took from Team Jacket, they said that he was going to do Nyankumade. So whoever the golden stool will land on his laps, he will become the leader of that kingdom. Let me tell you, Osei Tutum was a childhood friend of Confederacy. So are you sure he was going to throw it on the leg of a different person?
Hold on, no. So the Sikaja Kofi or the golden stool was once a dangerous stool.
Yeah, that was sat on.
That was sat on by Team Jakari.
Yes.
If you love my content and you want to keep seeing this kind of authentic content around Ghana, Africa, bringing you the transatlantic slave trade and also a very important history right from the source and from authentic people. We go through a lot to bring you all this. We travel through rough terrains and difficult places, and your donation and your support will take us far and will help us bring you back-to-back consistent stories. Kindly click on the link below in the description or in the comment section and donate to help us. I mean, Dunkwa on offend. And you know, this story, history about slave trade and, you know, ancient history and all that we started talking about. Now, everybody talks about the Denkyira Kingdom. The Asantes mentioned their name. Everybody mentioned their name because they were key factors in this whole thing. So today I'm here in the Denkyira Kingdom, and I'm going to explore. I'm going to talk to people like intellects here, the historians, and they are going to tell us about the history of the people of Denkyira. And I don't know what to expect, and I'm so excited. And guys, hi, so today again in Denkyira I'm with Nana Buedrin Tiamo. He's a historian and he's well vested in the history of Ghana and the history of Denkyira. And I think that now, I don't want to waste time. I want to just dive straight into it, and then I don't know what to expect. So Nana, who is Denkyira and which people are called Denkyira?
Who is Denkyira?
Yes.
That is a very broad question.
Yes, I know.
Denkyira is any person, at a point in time in history that his ancestors served the black stew of Denkyira, which is the Bankemdra. That person is a Denkyira.
That person is a Denkyira.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I know there's a lot of narrations and history and different, you know, perspective that is happening. Now I'm in Denkyira Palace.
Yes.
Right. And I believe that I'm going to get authentic history that is the true and the only one. So now, how did Denkyira came to existence?
Okay, this is a very fantastic question. Denkyira is a kingdom that traces its root to as far back as Sumer, you know, ancient Sumer, Mesopotamia. You know, we were there, and due to some wars, so because of the deluge, we moved to Egypt. So if you heard of King Aha before, King Aha was the first Egyptian king of the dynasty who united the Upper Egypt and the Lower Egypt. Okay. And the name Aha is a Denkyira name.
The name Aha is a Denkyira name?
A Denkyira royal name.
Okay.
See, so then we had to move because Egypt was attacked by Cambyses, by Macedonia. Then later, they were attacked by the Persians. Egypt was attacked by Persians. Okay. Then later, Alexander the Great. Later, the Romans. Okay. So all these wars pushed us further here. But when we came down here. But I want to ask, why were you running? Because if you say Egypt, were you not Egyptians? Were you Egyptians or you were not Egyptians? You were just settlers? When you move and establish a kingdom there, the kingdom becomes yours. Okay. You understand? But when there's external force and the force supersedes you, either you fight to maintain your kingdom or you fight to, you know, care for your life. Okay. So that's what happened. So Denkyira is a runaway Egyptian? Yes. Basically, that is it. Basically runaway Egyptian is Denkyira. Okay. Now you can continue. Yes. So when we came to the old Ghana, the Malian Empire, that's when another war broke out. Okay. You see, but that area, it was the Arabs, the Arabic invasions. The Arabs were trying to give their culture and customs to those, you know, people in the old Ghana Empire. Okay. Yeah, of which Denkyira was part of it. Okay. So most of the people migrated southwards. Then we said enough is enough. We will have to resist them. At that time, we were not called Denkyira. At that time, we were called Adeu people.
Adeu. Okay.
Adeu people.
Okay.
So we
is it the same as Deu, which is in the Kriapem?
In the Kriapem, no, it's different. There might be a remnant of our people who might have called them the Deu people.
Okay.
We were called Adeu people.
Okay.
Yes. And we moved. Most of the Akans moved earlier than us. After around the 1200s, that's when the Amia and the Bono people crossed first to establish the Bono Manso.
Okay.
We tried to resist the Islamic invasion. So we came later, part of it.
Okay.
Around 1300. That time, Bono Mankuma was the king of Bono.
Okay.
When we came, when he saw our weapons and our weaponry and everything, he said, no. So he told us to go and live with his son, who is the chief of Inchira. They were in Chinchira.
Okay.
Yes. So when we went there, they received us and gave us a place to stay. So we depended on them for their land. So it became the Adeu people who depend on Inchira for survival. You understand? Yeah, but some people corrected that we turned to them. No, we didn't. Because when we came with our customs and tradition, which was entirely different from theirs.
Okay.
You understand? So later, the name Adeu became the Adeu for Amodan Inchira, which became Danchira for Dan Inchira for.
Adeu for
Amodan Inchira.
Amodan Inchira.
Which became
so Adeu people who depend on Inchira.
Yes.
Wow. Inchira.
They gave us the land to settle.
Okay.
Because we didn't come early.
Okay.
Yeah. We came late. Yeah. So we were there with them.
So let me ask, is it that all this, the Bono and all these people, we're all running from the Arabic invasion?
Yes.
Like for the Arabs trying to oppress you, to take their religion.
Yes.
So that's why all of you were running.
All of us, all the Akan, that's why we migrated southwards.
Okay.
But some came earlier than others.
Okay.
You understand? That's why we
why did you come late?
Because we tried to resist them.
Okay.
The other people were actually the warriors among the Akans. So we tried to resist them.
Okay.
But we realized that no.
You can't.
You couldn't.
Oh.
So we had to come and join our brothers here.
Okay.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
That's when we came here. At that time when we came, Anamia and Co there established the Bono Manso.
Okay.
And let me talk about Bono Manso. Talking about Bono Manso. This is, you see, when you are moving from the top to the south here, you are moving from grassland to forest zone.
Okay.
And any wise person will not rush, will not move from grass to forest.
Okay.
You have to stay at the transition zone so that you study the type of crops in the forest belt and the type of animals in the forest belt. Because lions live on grassland and in the savannah, but they don't live in the forest.
Okay.
So you have to make a camp there. So every time you send your hunters to go and check the forest, if the food, even what you know as food on the grassland will change when you enter the forest.
Okay.
Because cocoyam does not grow on the savannah.
Okay.
Pear does not grow on the savannah.
Okay.
So you have to send scouts to go and test. Okay, we got this food, yam. When we ate, we didn't die. When the animals ate, they didn't die. So gradually, they realized that there were some food or some plants in the forest zone that they could depend on for survival. After that was done, that was when most people started migrating from the Bono Manso.
Okay.
Because at that time, we had studied that, no, we could enter the forest zone.
Okay.
So
and
Bono Manso was automatic stoppage.
For everybody?
Everybody.
So what's the meaning of Bono?
Bono.
What's the meaning of Bono?
Bono means first.
Bono means first. Yes. In which language?
It's a Akan language. Some of the ancients Akan tree first.
So it means Bono like first settlers.
Yeah.
Bono Manso.
Yes.
First
settlers. Nation.
Wow. Okay. Let's flow.
Okay. So sometime with the Inchiras, at that time we had our ancestress. She was called Abrabu Masi.
Okay.
She gave birth to Nana Gobami, Anodino, and Siema. So when they did that, Nana Bumasi had a cousin called Atafusia. But Atafusia could not conceive. The deities that the Denkyras were using were mostly warriors and deities that are into wealth, money making, and yes.
The Denkyras was very rich.
Yeah. So warriors and money making deities. But we were not having deities that could give children.
Okay.
So we consulted Tatwa deity in Inchira. So our great ancestress, who was a sister of Abrabu Masiata Fusua, gave birth. And they called that child Twa. So later, descendants of that Nana Twa became Agona Twa people.
Agona Twa people. Okay.
Yes. And because of Agobami, Nana Ago So the descendants of Nana Ago collectively became known as Agonafo.
Agonafo.
That's where the name Agona came from. Yes.
Which is Denkyira for?
No, difference between Agona and Denkyira, but I'll come to that.
Right.
So at that time, because they had, they depended on Denkyira, so the Agona and Denkyira were relatively interchanged.
Okay.
Yes, they were interchanged.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So at what point did you guys decide to settle here?
Here, good. There have been a lot of historical antecedents that caused the migration.
Okay.
After some time at Bono, we decided to migrate because at that time the Mankesim people had migrated.
Okay.
Odumankwana led some people to migrate to Mankesim. So we decided to migrate around the 1500s.
Okay.
So by 1510 we reached here, the place called Akan, where they call it Adansi.
Okay.
It was not first called Adansi. I'll come to that. It was called Akan.
Okay.
So we came here around 1510. When we came, most of the clans had already migrated.
Okay.
And were settling.
Okay.
This was not a kingdom.
Okay.
It was a cluster of clans.
Okay.
So the Ayoko people were staying at Abedjom. The Asechi people were living at Apoche. The Kona people were living at Fomina. The Asuna people were living at Kokobiante or Akrofrom.
Okay.
So when we came, we did not join them. We just established our establishment called, or our place called Tutum.
Tutum.
Yeah, we are having a deity called Tutu deity.
Tutu deity.
That deity is represented by a lion.
Okay.
What you see here. You saw a lion here.
Yes.
When you are entering the palace.
There's a lion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you go there, you see a lion there.
Okay.
Yes. When you look at it, yes. When you look at the Egyptian sphinx, the true name of the sphinx is Tutu.
Okay.
So it's the name of a deity.
Okay.
You understand? It was a Denkyira deity. So we named the town establishment after that Tutu deity. Tutume. You understand? So when we lived there for some time. Our leader then was Nana Ekra Adebo.
Okay.
At that time, Nana Bumasi and Atapo, they had died.
Okay.
So our leader was Nana Ekra Adebo. And she was a priestess as well.
Okay.
So she was the leader of the Aguna people.
Okay.
It was called, it's an Aguna state.
Okay.
Yeah, but at that time we lived in cluster of clans.
Okay.
Yes. So Nana Ekra Adebo, her husband was Yaware.
Okay.
Yaware. They were actually cousins because Yaware was actually the leader of the Aguna Menu people.
Okay.
You understand? They gave birth to Nana Enim Penini.
Okay.
Ehiniaha.
Ehiniaha.
That's why I told you I can Aha. Don't forget Aha.
Ah, Ehiniaha. So they were twins.
They were twins.
Okay.
Eniaha.
Eniaha.
Yes.
Ehiniaha.
Aha.
Okay.
So Aha. So that's why I said Aha is a Denkyira. Now you find in ancient Egypt kings.
Okay.
It's the name of one of our. It's our royal name.
Okay.
And Fumua.
Okay.
So the Fumua was the lady. So when Nana Ekra was in a trance, channeling because she was a priestess. And those times, her deity, one of our deities, when they enter her, they possess her. She sits on board, and drums will be beaten following her, and she'll be, dancing and chanting and all those things. So the act of Nana being carried on the board, and the drum beating, Nana has been carried on the board. Apane Dikai, and then it became Apakan. That's when Palanquin came.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Yes. So when Nana cried about one thing is when she was in a trance, somebody had to interpret what she was saying.
Okay.
So that person became the Pometia, which later was corrupted to Ochiame.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So in Denkyira, when you want to speak to Ochiame, you don't speak to him. Because you don't see Ochiame standing on the right side. The Ochiame is always on the left side of the king.
Okay.
Because you have to talk to the Ochiame. The Ochiame is holding the Pometia, so he having every power, so he will stop every power before I come and meet the king.
Okay.
But when you go to other Akan states, because they copied it wrongly from us, they place Ochiame here.
On the right.
But when you are greeting in Akan, you don't greet from the right, you greet from the left.
From the left.
So it means that you even greet the king first before you go to Ochiame. At that time, what the use of the Achame Puma, the staff? The Achame Puma was a deity. It was not just normal Puma.
Okay.
It was a deity that they pour libation on it. So when the Ochiame, you greet the Ochiame, every powers you are bringing, you have to stop it there.
Okay.
Before you even come to the king, before you even go to the, you understand? So then I cried about actually established the spiritual philosophy of Denkyira. So one day, during her trance, a parrot came and he informed her. When the parrot came, they were actually trying to stone the parrot. Trying to stone the parrot. So fortunately, the parrot spoke. So she listened and followed the parrot. The parrot announced that a stool had descended and it landed on oil palm. So there were a lot of parrots that were eating. So she took the stool. There were 3 deities that accompanied the stool. So she brought all of them home, did incantations, and made that stool, Bankamdwa, the black stool of her state. And the deities became the national deities or the national guardian angels of the state.
Which is?
You understand?
Okay.
And there's another sword that came with it. We call the sword Tienhiebua.
Okay.
That's why the Denshakin swears with the Tienhiebua.
Okay.
What Tina say here, you respond.
Okay.
When you hear and it is no good, you just have to respond.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Yes. That's the name of our state sword. So then I Crowdboard died around 1583.
Okay.
Then the son, Nana Animpenyini, became the next Aguna. Nana Crowdboard was not, he was Aguna state. That was Tutumbe, leader of Tutumbe.
Okay.
Nana Animpenyini came. After Nana Animpenyini, Nana he and her, they ruled simultaneously. They also came. And after that, that's when Densha took another form. Nana Mumufi came.
Okay.
When Nana Crowdboard went for the stool came with its own commandments or doctrines.
Okay.
And one of it was that we are supposed to give the ordinances or the customs of the stool to all the other Akan groups around us. That was the commandment.
Okay.
And because the stool came from heaven, from the sky, it was not a gold, it is beads or pearls.
Okay.
So in every year, they perform a ritual for it, the cleansing of the stool, which is called Udra.
Okay.
Udra means to purify.
Okay.
So Udra is
It's a Denkyira festival.
Denkyira festival.
Okay. It's not the Kriapin festival.
No. Kriapin started celebrating in 1874 after the Katamanso. You are come to that. I'll come to that. There's a reason they started celebrating it. After they defeated Ashantis. So I'll come to that.
At Katamanso?
Yeah, so
okay.
So, I'll come.
By the help of the Akwamus?
Yeah, I'll come to that, okay. So don't worry. So after that, after all the rituals, we celebrate the Udra festival for the cleansing of the state.
Okay.
And the commandment of the stool was that we have to give our customs to the other Akan clan state, the family state.
Okay.
Yes. And at that time, what happened was that to force your theories or your customs on other people, it means you have to subjugate them.
Okay.
And all the chiefs who came were peaceful.
Okay.
So when Nana Mumufi came, around 1588, and an event happened. The chief of Akan, that was Adansi came. And he had a prince called Enchibrenya.
Okay.
So they came to Denkyira and they were praying Atopre.
What is Atopre?
It's a type of drum.
Okay.
Drum. And the wife of Namumunfi, who was Amanie, was there. And Brebre, the sister of Amanie, followed her to that Atopre.
Okay.
The prince of Akroche, Adansi came, Utibra Kwansari. He was the son of Nana Utibra Kwansari. Came and danced with Nana Manie.
Okay.
And to dance with the chief or the king of Denkyira is a taboo. The wife of the king of Denkyira was a taboo.
Oh.
So they took Enchibrenya and shaved his beard. When they shaved the beard, the Adansi people misinterpreted this as a sign of disrespect. So they brought the war. And our chief at that time of the Tutum at that time was Nana Mumufi. Nana Mumufi was the chief, and Nana Danso Brempong was the one for the Aguna Menu. And Nana Usi Jamedua was the one for Bojesango.
Okay.
They combined and they defeated the Akroche people.
Okay.
Then that was when Denkyira defeated the Adansis.
Okay.
After that, Denkyira imposed a Radibasa on Adansi.
What is a Radibasa?
He is the name of the lieutenant of Nana Mumufi, one of the lieutenants of Nana Mumufi.
Okay.
Radibasa's father had once been an Adansi chief before.
Okay.
But Adansi was practicing Precolonial at that time. So Nana Utibra Kwasare, his son Brenya would have inherited him. You understand?
Okay.
So Denkyira imposed a Radibasa on Adansi and gave the doctrines of Denkyira, which is Achiame, Apakan, and all the Udra.
Okay. Udra.
To be implemented by Radibasa. Good, because the Adansis did not have that custom. What Radibasa was doing was strange to them. So they said, now even to talk to even the Radibasa, you have to talk through an Ochiame in Frama. Because you can't from Eradi. That's when the person can a friend is saying, Eradi is a Kasafan from it was Eradi Basa.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So we impose our doctrines on them. Then Anamu told his brothers at that time, Tutum. Now you see, this is why the stool is telling us we should migrate. So you, the younger brother, which is the Kutukubi Senyasi people, migrate, move and go and establish your kingdom around the Lake Bosomchin side. You, but your son, there was his brother was called Nanakwachi. He told Nanakwachi to also go and move at the outskirts of Adansi to also go and establish his state there. You understand? And Nanamu also moved to establish his state. He named it Abankesieso. So Nanamu established Abankesieso. Nana Danso Brempon also established the Senyas, which is Achim Kotoku.
Okay.
Nana Kwachi established the Borjesangu state.
Okay.
So every year during the Ujura festival, they come together at Abankesieso.
Okay.
To celebrate the Ujura.
Okay.
And that became cleansing. And collectively they were called Denkyira.
Denkyira.
Collectively
they were called Denkyira. But inside the Denkyira, there are different families.
It's the Denkyira.
Okay.
So Denkyira was a kingdom of 3 different states combined.
Okay.
You understand? That's what Nana Mumifi did.
Okay.
So Denkyira, so it's the leader of Abankesieso was the Denkyira Hene.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And his brothers, collectively, they were the Denkyras.
Okay.
Just like today, modern Kumasi, the Kumasi Hene is the Asante Hene when they all meet.
Okay.
But when he's there, he's Kumasi Hene.
Okay.
So in the ancient Denkyira, when the Abankesieso
come again. Who is the Kumasi Hene currently? Okay, he's the Kumasi Hene.
And he also doubles as Asante
Hene.
It was the same thing then. They copied that from Denkyira.
Okay.
Because at that time, the leader of Abankesieso, when Abankesieso come together, Kutuku come, then Borisam come together, he became the leader of the Denkyira.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay. So now you just mentioned the Asantes, right? Now, what happened? Like, now, I mean, a lot has been said that I think works. I don't know. But then, what happens for the Asantes to say that we don't want to be part of the Denkyira kingdom again and we want our freedom?
Okay, fantastic question. There was not like Asante before 1700. There wasn't anything like Asante.
Everybody knows that.
Asante is the etymological word for Asante means because of war.
Okay.
So Asante, you understand? That's what happened. All the people that you see in Ashanti region, they were all Denkyras. They were all Denkyras.
Yes, they all say that.
They were all Denkyras. Yes. And they are all Denkyras. This is what happened. After Nanabuan Ponsim was enthroned and stood as the king of Denkyira at the age of 8.
Okay.
At that time, Nana Rempiampim had gone to Awori for a war, and he died of cold. So Adawanti had to come home to come and find a replacement for him. So when they came, they consulted their Adansi deity, and they captured that 8-year-old boy, and they sent him to the war front to make him the king.
Okay.
So he's actually one of the longest. He ruled long, and he was the one who turned Denkyira into center for wealth and power.
So it means that he started the slave trade in Denkyira.
He didn't start a slave trade.
Okay.
He started a kingdom expansion.
Kingdom expansion.
And when you expand kingdom, you have to get a lot of, you don't kill people.
Yes.
Because per the customs, we are supposed to bring all the countries together and impose our customs on them.
So the question I want to find out, who started, or per history, who really made the slave trade
a business
in Denkyira?
Yes. I'll get there. You see, in war, when you go to war and you conquer your adversary, there are people you bring to the palace to come and serve you. So before the whites came here, we were already practicing slavery here. And it was not peculiar to one kingdom.
Okay.
When Akwamu go and fight and capture people, the people become their servant at the palace.
Okay.
You understand? Any kingdom that conquered another state, when they took people of war as prisoners, some of them became slaves and served at the palaces.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I can't tell you this kingdom started slavery or that started slavery.
But who made it luxurious?
Yes, I'll come in. When the Dutch came here first, Nana Buampo is him. At that time, which people actually started slave trade or started buying slaves? The English.
Okay.
What time did the English come to the Gold Coast?
You tell me.
No, I'm asking a general question. Okay. So this is thing you need to examine. When the English came to Gold Coast, at that time, Denkyira was not at the peak of the power.
Okay.
Listen. Listen. At that time, Nana Buampo was trading with the Dutch. We were trading gold. At at that time, the major trade product was gold.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And the gold was used to purchase gunpowder, to conquer other states, so that the people who we conquered, some of them will be used to mine
the gold.
You understand?
Okay.
We use them for gold mining, not direct trading.
Okay.
It was later when the transatlantic slave trade became popular, and they needed people to go and plant sugarcane in the West Indies.
Okay.
That was when people started selling. We started selling some of our people captured in war as slaves.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes, I do.
So when one person came, he started using golden. He created stool made of gold. Stool made of gold. Yes, that's what he started on public. We call it ofimba.
Ofimba.
Yes, stool made of gold. You understand? He also created a golden mask. He created golden slippers.
Oh.
Yes. I'll tell you something. Actually, this palace, when it was being built, we used one of the golden sandals as a collateral for loan at the Barclays Bank before we built this palace.
These are golden sandals?
Yes, as a collateral.
Have you gone for the golden sandals?
Yes. Yes, Abusia Penny aware.
Okay.
Yes, I'll come to that.
Okay.
So, another one person created most artifacts out of gold. This entire that you see. Yes, we had one laced with gold, the line with gold.
But can I see some of the artifacts?
Some of the artifacts. That one, yeah, unless the jazz here. Unless jazz here. So some of them are not here.
Okay.
So another one person.
Which ones are here?
That one, you have to talk to my Ebusian. You have
Museum at Jukwa?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So that one, you have to talk to my Ebusian opinion.
Okay.
So some of them are not, you'll be permitted to see them just like
them, okay.
So, because we had golden buckets, the reason I mentioned those things that you come to it.
Okay.
I told you Denkyira was a kingdom of 3 states, but Yosango also had Vitegudu. We used that for Busumburu and Ojra festivals, Busumburu Che, Busumburu Afuna, and all those things. So during our Ojra festival, they all bring their things for their rituals, and they all go their separate ways.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
1695, something happened. Nanabuan Prince the first died. When he died, there was a power struggle that came. But before that, Okonfanochi came under tutelage.
So you've mentioned Okonfanochi, you see. You see, I went for that. No, I want us to go in a certain direction. That's why I've just interjected. Okay. Now, when I went to Akwamu stated that Okonfanochi was once there.
Yes.
And then he gave a prophecy that the king's head will go to the whites, which was the Danes, which their king didn't understand the meaning of it. He thought the Danes would cut off his head. Yeah. So he said, it's not possible. So Okonfanochi was mad and even at a point put him into some dungeon or whatsoever. And then later, what the Okonfanochi meant, Kantamanto, that he has sworn not to fight for the white against his fellow like Africans or Ghanaians, and then the white has forced him in a way, and he realized that he was fighting. No, see, he has sworn and he has go against his words. So his head has been with the white, just like Okonfanochi stated. Now Okonfanochi has moved with Osei Tutu. Now if you go to Ukugwa in the eastern region, they're also saying that's where Okonfanochi is from. Now I've come here, I was also hearing Okonfanochi. Like, who is this Okonfanochi?
Yeah. Okonfanochi actually, he's from Ukugwa. That is his hometown. So when he was born, he had this magical power, like a priest. He was a priest. But before he became a priest, Denkyira power and might exerted so far. So there are a lot of priests in Denkyira. So they had to bring Okonfanochi under tutelage. That we call it Nkomu at Denkyira. Another Denkyira chief priest who was called Konfo. You understand? So when Okonfanochi came here, like I told you that the customs, the Bankamdra, that's the black stool of Denkyira, and its guardian angels, they said that before anybody, we should use the customs of that stool and give it to our people, our citizens. So Nanabuan Prince made a decree that before anybody will become a chief or a king in his kingdom, that person must be brought to Abankesiaso to be taught in the doctrines and customs of the Denkyira kingdom.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So the people at Kwamai, Obriaboa, sent one of his nephews to come to Abankesi.
Who is Osei Tutu? Okay.
So when Okonfanochi came to Denkyira, he and Osei Tutu became good friends.
Okay.
Actually, Osei Tutu was assisting him in the collection of help.
Okay.
You understand? But you know the black stool of Denkyira is not a solid stool. It's made of beads.
Okay.
You understand? So Okonfanochi saw a prophecy that the kingdom would disintegrate into pieces.
Okay.
And he tried. He told the king of Denkyira that this is what I've seen, and I want to stop it. And what he demanded, don't forget, Okonfanochi's deity was more into human sacrifice. Babudro, we call him Babudro, was more into human sacrifice. So at that time, Okonfanochi demanded that a woman with a sabine on the leg should be sacrificed.
Okay.
We searched the only two people, Nana Benso and Nana Amoche. Amoche was the auntie of Okonfanochi.
Okay.
The king cannot kill his sister.
Okay.
So we just took Amoche and handed it to Bahan during his trance. So when he, came to himself, he realized that he had killed his auntie.
His auntie.
So out of anger, he left Denkyira for Akwemu.
Okay.
Listen.
Okay.
He left Denkyira for Akwemu.
Okay.
And when Osei Tutu was here, the only sister of Bono 1.0, he also had an affair with him.
Okay.
And became pregnant. And it was a taboo for you to impregnate a royal without a proper traditional marriage. So he too, fearing for his life, ran to his uncle at Kwamai.
Okay.
That this is what I said. No, he told him they'll bring about to no, my guy, we cannot continue here. Because we are all subjects to the Denkyira, and we've committed this grave danger. So can you go to Akwemu? So Osei Tutu also went to Akwemu. When he went to Akwemu, he met his friend there once again.
Okay.
You understand? And the Doma people at that time, some of them they were living at Sontresu, which was under Denkyira.
Okay.
So they were under Denkyira.
Okay.
And they attacked the Kwamai people and killed Obriyaboa.
Okay.
You understand? At that time, Osei Tutu heard that his uncle had been killed. He was coming back. So Okonfanochi came with him.
Okay.
To Kwamai.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
And at that time, in 1695, Nana 1.0 died. The king of Denkyira died.
Okay.
And who to inherit the throne became a rivalry. There was at the Denkyira in Tutum Upper, there was Nana Sensokofo, who was also qualified for the throne. And then Tim Jakeri, who was the direct nephew of the king.
Okay.
You see, so where civil war broke out in 1695 between Nana Sensokofo and Tim Jakeri.
Okay.
So Nana Sensokofo migrated to Nkare. You understand?
In Ashanti region.
It was not Ashanti, it was still under Denkyira.
Yeah, I'm just using Ashanti region.
Yes, Ashanti, so people understand.
Nkare is in Kumasi.
Kumasi,
so
yes.
that people understand.
Yes.
Okay.
Move there. You understand?
Okay.
And Tim Jakeri, okay, fine. Once I've gotten the stool, I don't care where you move to.
It's up to you.
So when the Tim Jakeri came, he started maltreating our people, our Denkyira citizens. Listen, people say that Denkyira were using people for slaves. No. I will come into some of these narratives. So he took the wife of one of his Kronkohene. Let me come here. Denkyira had 3 divisions. We have the Akumentri,
okay,
which is the left wing, the right wing, Tremfem, and we have the Aguna Adontindom. You understand?
Okay.
And I'll come to that. In Denkyira, the Adontin, the second in command. It was because during the Denkyira true army, when the Mensa, Menu, and the PSA come together,
okay,
the Menu, the second one, which is the Kotoku people, they were mainly the Adontin leader.
Okay.
At that time. So when the Denkyira, when the first one is not there, I'm the second one, automatic.
Okay.
I have to what? Replace.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah,
That's why in Denkyira, I don't think he need the second in command.
Okay.
Yes. So during that time, Nana Intim Jakeri took the wife of his Kronkohene. His name was Nana Kojo AJB.
Okay.
So out of anger, Nana Kojo AJB moved his people, some of the people, to the present day Bantama area.
Okay.
Do you know? I'm coming.
Okay.
When he went there, I was saying to two, and Okonfanochi saw the people he brought. And at that time, they moved to Agrek. Do you know where Agrek College is? Yes. That's a Suyebua Road. They went there. Okay. You understand? So when I said to hear that some people have come from Denkyira, and they came with many guns. He sent people to go and ask them, did they come for peace or they came for war? Okay. And they said they came for war. And I said to said, okay, if you came for war, then there should be a truce, peace truce. So Nana Kojo JB from Denkyira, who was Denkyira Kronkohene, gave his nephew called Ejay Kumenini to Osei Tutu. Says he also gave his son Brenya to come in exchange. So it means that we are now at peace.
Okay.
So Osei Tutu asked him that there are people who are disturbing me, who are living at Sontreso, at that time the Doma people.
Okay.
So if you help me to drive them away, then it means that we are at peace. So Nana Kojo JB and his brother, the Twanse Hene and the Pianse Hene, they joined and sacked the Doma people from Sontreso and crossed away. Okay. So it was not by Asante, it was by Denkyira, Kronkon Hene, who sacked the Domas from Sontreso to where they are.
Okay, so as at still that time, there were the civil war in Doma was happening.
It had
happened, and the effects were people have moved far away from
Tufuhima
here
to the Sontreso.
To Sontreso and the Bantama.
Yeah, to Sontreso, the Bantamans were there. Yes. So after that, after Nakojo JB sent people there, then they said to some commercial that no, these people did not come for, they can be good to us.
Okay.
So Nakojo JB was told to bring more Denkyira people from Denkyira to Kwamai. So they called him the Chimame. He draws people from Denkyira to me.
Okay.
So the Chimame became the Achumahene.
Achumahene.
He became the Achumahene.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes. It's interesting.
And the Denkyira people who went to the Kwamai and lived at the back of the Nwabi stream became the Achuma people who live at Nwabi Eja. So they became the Achuma Nwabi Eja.
Achuma Nwabi Eja. Okay.
The people of Denkyira who went to Achuma and were positioned in the forest, who were cutting trees for the farm, became the Achuma Imponuya. They were breaking trees for farming.
Imponuya. Okay.
And Achumas who were hunting for buffalo skin. Buffalo, a Kwangoma, became the Achuma Kwangoma.
Achuma Kwangoma.
You understand?
Yeah.
They are dangerous.
Okay.
You see, so after that, after the migration, and most of the Denkyira went away there. Tafo, they are all dangerous.
Okay.
Tafo, they are all dangerous. So that's what happened. All the subjects of Denkyira decided that no, in Tim Jakari, there was a lot of people called the Bonchuma people. Let me clear this history. People mistaking the Bonchuma people with the Achuma people, which is not true.
Okay.
When Nana one person was alive, there was a king called Nana Ntiamwa Menkuo.
Okay.
He was the chief of Aboso on the Oda Akuche Road. He killed some Denkyira royals and took their gold.
Okay.
And after he took their gold, one of the people who the entourage escaped and told the Denkyira Hene.
Okay.
So Denkyira Hene attacked Nana Ntiamwa Menkuo and killed him. He said that you know what, I won't kill all the people in your town. I'll use them for sacrifice.
Okay.
So those people were smeared with red clay and slaughtered to some of our gods. So they became the Bonchuma people.
Okay.
The Bonchuma people are people of Nana Ntiamwa Menkuo. They are not the Achuma people. The Achuma people are Denkyira royals and Denkyira citizens.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And we cannot use our royals for that.
For the sacrifice.
So we use the Bonchuma people who actually killed Denkyira royals. That's when another person created an Intahira we call Konkonya. Today Konkonya is at Menshia Palace. Because he created it and gave it to the royal. So if you're Denkyira royal and you are moving, you'll be led by that Intahira, Konkonya. What these people are blowing.
Okay.
So that's when one person created that Intahira for his royals, that before you move, so that people will know that you are a royal and they will come and attack you.
Okay.
But because of that, his name with the
I see.
You understand?
I understand.
So when Nana Ntiamwa was suppressing his state, his own people, and at that time Nana Sansokofo had moved to Denkyira. He was because he was also he needed a throne, the stool. You understand?
Okay.
His brother-in-law was Osei Tutu. And one of our women also migrated and also married Osei Tutu. We call him Nana Abreska. So Osei Tutu gave him the lands of the Bentina area, Ashmaku Florida and all those areas. So they said Bentina Zazen Nahokwa, it belongs to the wife of Osei Tutu, which is Nanaire. And then Pintina Zazen Nahokwa.
Okay.
So Nana Abreska was a Denkyira royal who supported Osei Tutu with gold. And she is the owner of the Bentina lands in Achuma right now.
Okay.
So you see that they were all dangerous.
Okay.
Who moved out of anger against their own king.
Okay.
You understand? So
and their own king happens to be the son of Osei Tutu.
You understand? So Okofanoche said, okay, fine, let us go and fight and remove this Intim Jakari.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So that our yoke will be removed.
Okay. Because Intim Jakari has become a yoke.
But when Intim Jakari realized that most of his people were migrating, he became worried. Why are my people moving to Kwamai? So this is what he did. He sent servants that that they should go to Kwamai and their annual gold tribute. They should go and collect, if it is one small gold, because of what, because Osei Tutu was receiving his own Denkyira people, trying to draw people from Abangesi. So make sure that you double that tax. And also tell them to tell my people from Denkyira to come back. You understand? That's when Osei Tutu took. Most people say they demanded for the wives. That's the first wife of every chief as a punishment. So Osei Tutu and the chiefs gathered, and they cut off the hands of the servants who were sent, the messengers, and placed it in the basin, and put sword on it, which was an act of declaration of what? War. You understand?
Yes.
So when they came, you see, let me chip in this. Then she had a deity we call Fofie Nyami deity. Fofie Nyami deity, when you see, I consider we have the Fofie. That deity too was carried by some people. Was in the possession of the Denkyira. But when the 19th Jakari came, he stopped performing traditions for that deity. So they carried that deity and sent it to Kwamai. So Osei Tutu, Confederacy made that deity personal bodyguard of Osei Tutu. So those people, he called them the Deboso people. I've mentioned Deboso because in the latter part, those people will come in, they play the role against the Bojisango and Asante war. I'll come in. They are dangerous. You understand? They came from Akrufrum. They moved from Akrufrum, then to Akrufrum at that time. You understand? Yeah. So when they came together, and they told, after the messenger returned, with what they have said, 19 Jakari said, so is it because of war that my subjects have united against me? So they say, okay, let us unite because of war against our own king. You understand? So Confederacy told them to bring some humans for sacrifices because,
as usual,
like Bosman reported it, even the one ring of Denkyira, the whole of Kwamai unity cannot even stand Denkyira. So Confederacy, according to Bosman, said that he will perform magic so that the Denkyira army will disintegrate. Let me tell you, at that time, Denkyira already started disintegrating. As the prophecy Confederacy himself told, because the stool had told them to migrate already. And even Confederacy, as powerful as he was, could not even stop that. Because there's no deity in Ghana that's more powerful than the Denkyira deity. There's no deity in Ghana today that's more powerful than the Denkyira deity. You understand?
Which of the deities?
I told the national deity. Our national deity. You understand? So, because the deities had wanted to disintegrate the kingdom, Confederacy tried to stop. But even before 1695, the kingdom already what? Disintegrate. You understand?
Yeah.
So they formed coalition, came for the war. At that time, listen, there were some historians report that.
Is it a Feyiase war?
Yes. Some historians report that Bojisango and Kotoku were part of that war. It is not true. Bojisango and Kotoku, the 19th Jakari told them that they shouldn't be part of the war because he alone, his own contingent army was going to just overshadow them. You understand? And the Asante Hene of Denkyira at that time was Nana Esiametia. Esiametia was Asante Hene. He was the leader of the Asante troops. So it was not actually the Kwamai people who brought the war. So Denkyira who took the war to them. So we passed through Jakobu. You know that Jakobu?
I know Jakobu.
We passed
Manso Central.
You know Jakobu people are Denkyira people.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I know Jakobu.
Yeah, they are dangerous. So we passed through Jakobu, passed through Edunku. You know Edunku?
Yeah.
Use the Lake Road to Feyiase.
Good.
So when we reached there was a town we called Bauro. We killed almost the whole town.
Wow.
The Confederacy has sent a message that the Bauro people, that Bauro and Abuantim, they should be able to hold the Denkyira army for 3 days continuously. And that Nana Isiametia and his entourage, they almost wiped them off the surface. You understand? So during the war, like my Bushapain narrated, they sent them to come for gunpowder. When they came, 19 Jakari was praying over with the wife of Nana Isiametia. So the messenger reported it to Nana Isiametia, and they knew that 19 Jakari was sleeping with the wife. Because to play Mankala, golden Oware, with pebbles. Golden
But the messenger, if he send you to come for gunpowder and go, just come for gunpowder and go. Why would you go and, why would you go and say that?
Let me say, I keep telling you that no power in this Akan here can stop what the Denkyira deity wants to do. You understand? So when he came, he also went and told Alessia, Charlie, your wife is playing golden over with which means an natural pump. You understand? Okay, so that's just by the way for the Gen Zs. You understand? Yeah, let's go on. So they reported, he reported it to Nana Isiametia.
Okay.
So they started shooting in the air You understand?
Okay.
And the next year, Metia surrendered, and show where Nana Team Jackery was. So the Jobbing troop led by Adako Yadom came and captured Nana Team Jackery and cut off his head.
Okay.
Actually, Osei was also coming. He heard that the Enchra army had crossed and coming. So he reached the place and said, Nana, return. Nana Team Jackery has been killed.
Okay.
That's what they call Ahinsan.
Okay.
Actually, because Osei was the father of Intim Jackery, he didn't want Intim Jackery to be killed. Okay. He told them to capture him. So because he killed, it brought a war between Adako Yadom and Osei.
Okay. So question I want to ask is that, so it means that the entire Asante troop was not even present at the Feyiase war. It was just the 2 towns you mentioned.
No, they were present. But you said in the war we have levering foot. You understand?
Okay.
At that time, our Adansi was facing the main Bauro people.
Okay.
Bauro and Abuantin people.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So then now Intim Jackery is gone.
Yes. After they killed him, he was sitting on the golden stool.
Okay.
Which one person created.
Okay.
Ofimba.
Okay.
He was wearing we had a golden mask.
Okay.
And the golden Owari.
Okay.
So the golden Owari and the golden mask went to the Jobbing people. And the golden stool was given to the Osei.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Then the golden bucket of Intim Jackery was given to the Baurohene. So today if you go to the Baurohene, he's in possession of the golden bucket of Nana Intim Jackery.
Okay. And that golden stool, where is it?
The golden stool is what after the war, after they were successful. Many people said Asante had golden stool. It is a lie. After the war, after they were successful, after they had realized that they have successfully defeated Enchra, Confederacy realized that he can create a kingdom. Because that time you could not create a kingdom because the war you were going, you don't know whether you are going to win or you are going to lose. So after that, he created a kingdom. He took all the stools of the chief that went for the war, and he buried them. And the golden stool that they took from Tim Jackery, they said that he was going to do Nyankumade. So whoever the golden stool will land on his laps, he will become the leader of that kingdom. Let me tell you, Osei was a childhood friend of Okonfanochi. So are you sure he was going to throw it on the leg of a different person?
Hold on, no. So the Sikaja Kofi or the golden stool was once a dangerous stool.
Yes, that was sat on.
That was sat on by Intim Jackery.
Yes.
And then Intim Jackery was killed, and that stool was given to Osei.
Yes.
Now when that stool got to Osei, and after the Feyiase war, and now Confederacy feels that now they can create a kingdom.
Yes.
Because they've won the war.
They've won the war.
Then he buried everybody's black stool.
Yes.
That shows that you are king, you are king, you are king.
Yes.
So he buried everybody's past and everybody's history. And then let's start afresh. And then we are starting afresh. And he's saying that this golden stool, whoever the golden stool will fall on your laps, you become the king. So like all the tribes has met, and then he's saying that whoever...
No, don't say tribes, all the states.
All the states.
Let me mention the states. Jobbing, Esuminya, Mampong, or Ejoso, that the coping his people. Ofinso, and Insuta.
Okay.
And this guy, Makase Kesi, because he used the earth for rituals. Okay. Makase Kesi, they were those. Okay. They were the main people.
So now all these states have met, and he's saying that I'm burying your black stool.
Yes.
So I've buried your history, everything. We are starting afresh.
Yes.
But we are starting with the golden stool.
Yes.
Which is now Sikeja Kofi.
Yes.
And
the Kofi, let me come in.
No, you let me finish. Let me finish. Hold on. You see, because people like me, I just want to learn. Do you understand?
No, I want to chip in something first. The war on the... No, I know.
If I finish, take your time. If I finish, then you continue. Okay. Now, he did that, and then he did whatever he would do, and the golden stool fell on the laps of Osei.
Who was his friend?
It means that... So does it mean that the golden stool never was from the sky?
No, let me come. The reason why it is called Sikeja Kofi was because the Battle of Feyiase was fought... Nana Intim Jackery was killed on Friday. Nana Intim Jackery was killed on Friday.
Okay.
And because Nana Intim Jackery was killed on Friday, the Friday became the national oath of Denkyira. They can't fear any Denkyira mine. Because they defeated Denkyira on Friday, they named us too Kofi. You understand? So it became Sikeja Kofi. You understand?
Okay.
So it didn't come from the sky.
Okay.
The question is, when that thing was done, Esuminya Hene Nana Oduonumapel became angry. At that time, because the Esuminya people played a vital role in that war. So they felt that Osei had cheated them and given the leadership to...
Confederacy has cheated them.
Confederacy has cheated them and given the leadership to Osei.
Osei.
So those people how the chiefs decided to contribute people to a Confederacy so that he can establish his own town, which is the Agona. And then Odo Mapel didn't contribute people.
Okay.
He told them, no. He will not give Confederacy any people to go and establish a town for him called Agona. Okay. Because you've cheated us and given the leadership to your friend. So you understand?
Yes.
So that became the confusion between Suminya and Confederacy and Odo us at that time.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So now what you are saying is that the Golden Stool was never conjured from the sky.
No.
It was what Intim Jakari was sitting on.
Yes.
That, whatever reason got there.
Yes.
And then, so how did he perform? Like, did he throw it or what did he do?
Yes. You see, those days,
the powers were physical.
Yes. And the Confederacy was having a lot of dwarfs. Dwarfs can do a lot of crazy things.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Yes. And that's what he did. And also, this is what the Confederacy said. I'm quoting a Confederacy word.
Okay.
Confederacy said the Golden Stool is not having powers. Listen, it's not having powers. Unless they go to Bojesango and take the Jute Kuduo, which belongs to Laguna Mensa, and come and add it to the Golden Stool to make it more powerful. Let me ask you, the Denkyira Stool that came from the sky, it came with its own deities. You understand? It didn't need anything on earth to add to it to make it powerful.
Okay.
So why did Confederacy tell them to go to Bojesango, who was the junior brother of Denkyira, who Confederacy had lived in Denkyira, had witnessed the Denkyira festival, that these people brought the Jute Kuduo to Denkyira, and it had magical powers.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So why did Confederacy tell them to go to Bojesango and bring that Jute Kuduo to be added to? Listeners,
so was it ever done?
Jute Kuduo, see, when Asante is coming, somebody carries a silver god and lead him.
Okay.
When Asante is coming.
Okay. Yes, when Asante is coming.
You see somebody carrying something and leading him.
Okay.
That is the Jute Kuduo.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
It does not belong to Asante, it belongs to Bojesango.
Okay.
That is the junior brother of...
So did they fight for it? How did they get it?
Yeah, they fought for it.
Okay.
They fought for it.
So now, I think that a lot has been said now. There's a lot of establishment about the Ashantis, Feyiase War, and so many things. Now, I just want us to... The Aquamus, okay? The Aquamus also says that the Denkyira fear them because they are the most powerful, states that ever existed. And if you see their map of their conquest region, I think it covers part of Denkyira.
No,
I have the map on my phone.
No, I will tell you the time. No, it was not true.
I have the map on I have the map. So okay. I have the map. Let me see if I can find it. Where's the map? Yes. So I have the map here, and so the expansion. This is Accra. Oh, it's not that clear, but maybe I'll send it to you for you to check. So tell me about the Denkyira versus Aquamus.
Good. And you know that it was Denkyira who actually sacked Aquamus from the Asaramankas.
Okay.
Took their lands and gave it to the Ebuakwes. I'll come in. When I was talking, I made mention of the Aguna Menu, the Kotoku people.
Okay.
In 1730, the Kotoku had a king called Nana Frimpong Manso the first.
Okay.
Nana Frimpong Manso and Nana Bikwanta of Achime Ebuakwa united their contingent. At that time, Ebuakwa Hene was the second in command. Frimpong Manso was the first in command. They attacked Ansasa Sreku and sacked him from where he was at Nyano Ansasa Ramankese. And because at that time, Kotoku was situated today, modern Asante Achim. You understand? Kwawu, Frimpong Manso gave the Kwawu land to his children and wife. You understand?
Okay.
So the lands of the Aquamus was closer to the Ebuakwa than to Kotoku.
Okay.
So he gave those lands to the Ebuakwa people.
Okay.
It was Frimpong Manso who led that contingent, followed by Baby Kwanta. You understand? It was when they sacked them and they settled at the Guans people.
Okay.
And they were tormenting them. That was when Ebuakwa had to send Safori to also go and sack them again.
Okay.
From tormenting the Guans. You understand?
Okay.
So even the contingent that sacked them from the Denkyira second one, Kotoku, who led that contingent against them.
Let me tell you something. You see, I just wish that, which I'm actually going to do it, like, I'm going to take a day I bring Denkyira, I bring Asante, I bring Akwemu,
yes.
and I bring Achim.
Yes.
And then
we
sit down,
yes.
and then we settle this.
Let me come. Let me come.
We settle this.
Let me come. Let me come.
Come in.
Let me tell you something. Even the Achims, the Achim Buakwa, Achim Bosumi, they are dangerous.
Okay.
And Achim Buakwa is also the friend, ally of Denkyira.
Okay.
So even our right-wing people, they were the contingent we brought from Achim Buakwa to come and help us. So we never fought with the Buakwas. Achim Buakwa is the friend of Denkyira. Achim Kotoku, Achim Bosumi are dangerous.
Look, guys, listen. Let me hold on. I'm coming. Guys, listen. How this whole thing is going, okay? I think that the best solution I'm going to do is that I'm going to put everybody on the spot. I'll bring Denkyira, I'll bring Ashanti, and all these, kingdoms together, and then we sit down and we see. Like, it's not even who is who. I think that we need to align the stories.
Yes.
We need to align the stories. We need to align the stories so that it is going to, be authentic.
Yes. We will align the stories.
We need to align the stories.
You see, let me chip in.
Chip in.
When you are dealing with history, you study timeline. You understand?
Yes.
After Asante Achim belongs to Asante now, because there was after the death of Frimpong Manso. When Frimpong Manso was alive, Opokuwa was afraid of him, so he made a peace party within that he's not going to fight with the Kotoku people. You understand? So they use elephants. So when Achim Kotoku is coming, there's elephant on his umbrella. You understand? So after his death, Opokuwa said that he made a peace party with Frimpong Manso, but not with the Kotoku state. So he took war to them, and the Kotoku trying to take their bloods too and go and hide it, left and went to today, what we call the Oda.
Okay.
So as Opokuwa then named his people, Konongo, Odumasi, all those stretched lands, they belong to the Kotoku people. So Opokuwa called them the Asante Achim. They are Asante and Achim.
Okay.
You understand? So they are dangerous.
Okay. Now the last thing that is very important to me that I want to talk about, I went to Pikoro in the far north, and then I studied the slave history, all that, to Salaga, and then they passed through Kumasi, and then Denkyira was controlling the trade because they were powerful, and then they were linking to the south and to the white. So now, how would you explain the involvement of Denkyira in this business? Yes,
like I told you, they were bringing slaves from Salaga, you understand? Just like I mentioned Bono Manso, which is the transition between the north and the south. So the Denkyira kingdom was the middle forest belt. So whoever comes from the north will have to come and meet the Denkyira. And whoever is coming from the Dutch will have to come and meet the Denkyira. That's why we have the Albina Castle note. You're actually paying the grand rentals to the Denkyira.
Okay.
When you go to Equida, we have Fort Dorothea. Equida, Fort Dorothea, it was actually controlled by the Bradensburg. Bradensburgian, who they say the Dutch.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And later German.
Okay.
Then she was also trading with them at Equida, keep 3 points.
Okay.
So then she was trading with them because it was at the center of the whole show.
Okay.
You are coming from here, I'm the most powerful. You are coming from here, I'm the most powerful.
Okay.
So everything rested at the door of what? Denkyira. That is it.
Okay. So after the defeat at Feyiase, who was controlling the trade?
Good. After the defeat of the defeat at Feyiase, I didn't mention something. Nana Esiametia, who surrendered and betrayed Denkyira, was taken to Kwamai. He thought that he was going to be rewarded. That's what they did. They dug a pit and built water and dam building around it and put him in it and tied his son at the back. So the king made a decree that everybody in the morning go and defecate on him. So the people say, I'm going to Esiametia's house. So I'm going to Esiametia's house. So later it became TFE. TFE then became TFE. That's why, TFE became for toilet in Akan. You understand? So Esiametia was actually punished because of that.
Okay. Yeah. So TFE is actually Esiametia's name.
Esiametia's name.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So then after the control the
after the war, the control of everything came under the Ashantis.
Okay.
The Asante people.
Okay.
People who are united because of war. Their leader Tutum.
So is it safe to say, I'm just thinking out loud. So is it like Confederacy knew all this along that is what is going to happen, and then he just happened to play everybody so that his friend, who happens to be Osei Tutu, will become the king. What do you say about that?
No, Confederacy saw that the Denkyira kingdom was going to disintegrate. He tried to stop it. Like I told you, he couldn't stop it because that was the destiny of the kingdom.
Okay.
Because the black stool of the Denkyira is beast.
Okay.
So it was meant to disintegrate and rejoin together.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
He tried to stop it. And they actually used him. They used Confederacy to cause that major what? Division.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
So Confederacy, he saw opportunity after the Feyiase battle. He decided to give that opportunity to his friend.
To his friend.
Which is Osei
Tutu.
So it was after the battle that he gave the opportunity to his friend.
Okay.
But when he was
so is it that he deceived the other states?
Yes, Asumia people and they felt cheated. That's why Asumia never gave people to Confederacy to go and use to establish a town called Agona.
Okay.
Agona was established by Confederacy.
Okay.
So after the war, every chief gave people, slaves, to be given to Confederacy to go and establish his own town. But Udonimapel felt that Confederacy has cheated them and given the Golden Stool to the leadership to his friend. Who did not even partake in the war. You stopped at Ahinsan and we went to the war.
Okay, so he didn't even...
You didn't, when you came, you had finished with the war and he has given you the stool and the power. So Udonimapel became angry.
Wow.
So that's why Asumia never gave that stool. So there was a friction initially between Asumia and Osei.
Okay, so guys, like what I want to say is that this whole story, we are not trying to like maybe paint a certain story. Okay, we are just trying to learn. It's not a story against a certain ethnic group or a certain group of people or that, but we are just learning. And as you can see, I'm very unbiased. I've gone to everybody's house and everybody say their story, and you should be the judge. But right now, I think we are getting to the stage where I want to bring everybody one Ashanti. In fact, the first I want to do is Ashanti, Denkyira, and then Akwamu. Yeah. I want to put these three states together. Like these three states together, and then we want to hear the story. And actually, the format of the story, we are going to use years. So you mentioned this year versus this year.
Yes.
Then you tell us what is happening.
Yes.
And then, I mean, we all be the judge. Yes. We all be the judge, and I think it's going to be an interesting one.
Yes.
So, Nana, thank you very much for all this insightful history you've shared with us. Like, I have learned, I keep learning. Like, from here, I'm going to I'll go to Axim, very far to start, a whole lot, like just to learn.
But do you know that Azim, you have a lot of dentures who are there?
Yes, you mentioned it. So when I go, we'll find out. I mean, I just want to come and find out things with you and everybody, the shock and the surprise. And we are hoping to also come back on Sunday to come and witness how your king-making process and all those things are. So guys, like, just stay with me this period, this moment. And now I'm thinking about the chronicles of Okonfa-Notche. It's something that everybody has a different side of it. But then one thing you cannot take from him was that he has a deity, and then he made Ashanti Kingdom and where he's from and all that. Yes, and now the deeper I go, the more I begin to believe that he's not from Nzema, as some people say.
He's from Ewukuga.
He's from Ewukuga. Everybody say he's from Ewukuga.
Yes.
And then others also say his brother is Togbe Charlie.
No.
That one too, I've not really heard that again. So guys, this is what happened when you don't go deep. So guys, like, this is Denkyira.
You're welcome to Denkyira. The only bearded kingdom in West Africa.
The only bearded kingdom?
No, bearded.
Bearded kingdom.
Kingdom which is made of beads. But black stool is beads.
Okay.
Bearded. So pearl. So
pearls. Okay.
This is what happens. Denkyira is disintegrated as it was destined to be.
Okay. If you love my content and you want to keep seeing this kind of authentic content around Ghana, Africa, bringing you the transatlantic slave trade, and also a very important history right from the source and from authentic people. We go through a lot to bring you all this. We travel through rough terrains and difficult places, and your donation and your support will take us far and will help us bring you back-to-back consistent stories. Kindly click on the link below in the description or in the comment section and donate to help us.